It is widely agreed upon that Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies is one of the worst zombies experiences of all time. It was so disliked by the community to the point where Milo became a meme after playing it for the first time. So up until recently, I hadn't played much Vanguard Zombies at all, to be honest. But then I saw it was coming to Game Pass recently, so I had to go back and take a look at this game. And I really wanted to see, is it as bad as people remember it being, or were people too harsh on this game when it came out? So today I wanted to talk about Vanguard Zombies just to see what the hell went wrong with this game. Der Anfang should honestly be called Der Unfun, because this is one of the least fun zombies maps that I've ever played. Der Anfang is an experience that had potential but ultimately ended up being half-baked. While the idea of a hub world being unlocked by completing the map's main objectives is a neat idea on paper, the problem is that there's not really much in this hub area to explore except for getting the rest of your perks, and that's about it. The whole point of Der Anfang is that you basically spawn in this hub area with Pack-a-Punch and all of the upgrades right there next to you. There's 5 objectives, but only 3 of them are the main objectives, and once you complete all 3 of the main objectives, you pretty much open the whole hub area. The biggest problem I have with this map is that it's repetitive in nature, which makes it somewhat boring in my opinion. You're basically forced to repeat the same objectives over and over again, essentially until you want to exfil. They also did end up adding a Pack-a-Punch camo to this map, as it wasn't there at launch, and it does look pretty cool, but the map is also so dark that you can even barely see it half the time. The map also didn't launch with a single wonder weapon, which is really odd considering that every single zombies map before this had a wonder weapon, including some of the non-Treyarch zombies. But luckily, a few months into this game's life cycle, they finally added the ray gun into the box, and it's an absolute beast in this game. Like, seriously, this thing is absolutely cracked. It basically takes out everything in its path, including bosses, and this thing can absolutely destroy Zabala if you have it fully Pack-a-Punch. Definitely by far the best version of the original ray gun in my opinion. There was also no main quest at the launch of this game, and I'm pretty sure it didn't come until a few months after launch, and this Easter egg is not really much of a main quest in my opinion. It's a pretty nothing burger of an Easter egg. It's like literally only 3 steps where you complete 3 rounds of a void objective, listen to the characters talk for 10 minutes, hold square on a book, and agree portal spawns in, and that's it. And you get absolutely nothing for completing this Easter egg, by the way, not even an ending cutscene. I did also want to talk about the bosses in this game. You have the Stormkrieger, which I honestly don't find this guy to be too bad, and his minigun can be intimidating, but honestly it's so easy to dodge that it's actually pretty silly. And then you have the Boomschreier, which are essentially zombies that run up to you and explode whenever you get close to them or you kill them. They're essentially the Tormentors from Mauer der Toten, but they're just reskinned here. I don't mind these guys. They're fine. They're not that annoying, and they're not that much of a nuisance, so I don't really care that much. And then you have Zabala, which being a really cool designed enemy, and I don't really mind her that much on the round-based maps. The problem is if you're playing the objective maps and it sends you to an objective and in a very small confined area, she can get a little bit too much sometimes. Der Anfang is a cool map with cool ideas that didn't fully get realized in my opinion. If this map had launched as DLC like Advanced Warfare or something and had a lot more content and stuff to do, I feel like people wouldn't have such a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to this game. Terra Maldicta is the same thing as Der Anfang, but with a different setting. I will say though, I do like the look of this map. probably better than Duron Fong, especially the Dark Ether area. Like, it's one of my favorite looking Dark Ether areas, even better than Cold Wars, to be honest. And even though this map follows the same format as Duron Fong, it did do some cool things, I guess. Like, you have the Decimator shield that they added to this map. While not being very useful, it is a pretty cool wonder weapon. And I don't think we've ever had a shield wonder weapon in Zombies anyway. The main quest in this map is also better than Duron Fong, and I feel like they do a couple of unique things, but for the most part, it's still the same. Just do a couple of objectives, listen to the characters talk, and that's pretty much it. But it's still a nothing burger of an Easter egg, and it still doesn't really feel like a main Easter egg, in my opinion. Also, I hate to say it, but some of these characters are really annoying, and sometimes I wish they would just stop talking.
Oh, 4 crystals must be shattered to release the Decimator, but they are currently unbreakable. There is a way to weaken those crystals, but the Decimator could be dangerous in the wrong hands. And you have yet to prove yourselves.
I don't even hate these characters necessarily. They just talk so much to the point where I keep seeing the box on the side of my screen and it actually drives me nuts. But I do think the Dark Ether demons are really cool, and I also do think it's really cool that a specific Dark Ether demon is linked to a specific field upgrade. One thing though that Treyarch should honestly bring back to their next game is the sacrificial heart system with the Tome of Rituals and the Altar of Covenants. The best way I can describe the Altar of Covenants is it's mostly like the augment system from BO6 and BO7, but you can also get ammo mods from the Altar of Covenants as well. And then the Tome of Rituals is a way to upgrade your field upgrade by using, again, sacrificial heart. This system is honestly not that bad of an idea, and I think it honestly might be a little bit better than the augment system that we have now. The system is great because it allows you to change your ammo mods and stuff mid-match instead of having to leave the match to change all of your augments and stuff like that. There's also absolutely no weapon rarities in this game, and instead, when you get a gun from the mystery box at a higher round, it will be pack-a-punched. This game doesn't even have armored zombies, which is something I don't think a lot of people even realized. But either way, just like Duron Fong, it's definitely not the worst thing of all time, but it definitely doesn't have the most replayability of all time either. Duron Fong and Terra Maledicta are absolutely bottom of the barrel compared to the other Zombies experiences that came before it. And I think the developers kind of realized that because right after this map came out, they announced that they were going to go back to round-based zombies and basically remaking the game from the ground up. Now, Shinonuma Reborn is interesting because I think this is the one Vanguard map that takes advantage of this game's mechanics very, very well. Like, even though it's a remake of Shinonuma, I think this one is the best version of Shinonuma by far. Shinonuma Reborn is the perfect combination of old and new. Like, it adds an extra room to the pre-existing layout without taking any other rooms away. The new dig site area is a perfect example of a great area to train in that also flows really well with the rest of the map. There's essentially 2 branching paths that will take you in and out of the dig site that will either take you to the storage hut or the comms room. This makes map flow so much better in my opinion and gives you a little bit of a shortcut to take across the map in case you get into a sticky situation. The zip lines are also here, which is nice for traversing controversial as well. But for the most part, it's mostly the same as the original with just an added area, which I think is great. I did also want to talk about how Vanguard's mechanics work with this map because I think they work pretty well for the most part. The sacrificial heart system is back with the Tome of Rituals and Altar of Covenants, and after every 6 rounds, you will earn sacrificial hearts, which then you can go to upgrade your gun. You also have 4 tiers that you can upgrade your field upgrade to as well, and it gets more and more powerful the more tiers you upgrade it to. It's the same thing with the perk system as well, where if you buy your first perk tier, that one will be free, but after that you have to pay points in order to keep upgrading your perks. You have 5 perks to choose from, but each one has like 4 tiers to it, and each tier you upgrade to gets more and more powerful. You have Fiendish Fortitude, which gives you more health, which is basically Juggernog. You have Diabolical Damage, which is Deadshot. Venomous Vigor is basically Quick Revive, just without the revive feature. Demonic Frenzy is Speed Cola. And then you have Ethereal Haze, which is Stamina. The only issue I really have with this perk system is the fact that the upgrades just seem a little bit expensive in my opinion. Because if you really think about it, it takes like almost 50k points to fully max out all of your perks, and by the time you fully max them out, it's not going to be until like the 30s. Not only that, but you also have to upgrade your gun 3 times, which also costs more the more you upgrade it, which as a result makes it feel like you're just constantly running out of points in this game. I do like what they did with armor in this game though, where it's in the crafting table rather than having a separate arsenal machine that you have to go to upgrade. It was a really nice change from Cold War, to be honest, and I don't know why they reverted it back in BO6 and BO7. And for Treyarch's next game, I think it would honestly be beneficial for them to do a system like this, because it's just so much more simple in my opinion. I did also want to talk about the Easter egg quest and the Wonderwaff quest on this map, because to me, I think this is the best quest in Vanguard Zombies. Now, granted, that's not saying a lot considering the previous 2 maps barely had Easter eggs, but this, in my opinion, is like one of the best modern Zombies Easter eggs in my opinion. The Easter egg quest itself is not too difficult, but there are a couple of steps where you do have to use your brain a little bit. There's also an actual boss fight on this map as well against Zabala, and while not being one of the best boss fights of all time, it's decently challenging and it's a fun time. Which again, the Wonderwaff quest itself also isn't that bad. You just do a couple of lockdowns to get the Wonderwaff barrel and you can pretty much build it from. There's also not a ton of side Easter eggs on this map, but the ones they did add to this map are pretty useful, so I don't really have any complaints about that. Most of the complaints I even have about this map in general are just Vanguard issues themselves. But either way, Shin Onuma Reborn is actually a pretty good map and is a nice change of pace that Vanguard Zombies pretty much needed in my opinion. Because this map is actually good, it just sucks that people didn't give it enough of a chance because people wrote off Vanguard right after the launch of this game. But either way, we still have one more map left in the DLC season, so I wonder what interesting location we're gonna go to this time. The Archon is a really weird map. Now, despite what some people want to say, I actually don't think this is the worst map of all time, but I do think it is important for people to know the context of why this map was made in the first place. And in case you haven't noticed, this map is literally Terra Maldicta, but with a green filter, and it's round base now. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. The fact that they actually re-released the exact same map from the same game but put a green filter on it is absolutely inexcusable and absolutely unacceptable from a billion-dollar company. I think it's stupid and I don't praise it whatsoever. Like, this, for what it is, feels like a scam where you're promised 4 completely brand new zombies maps and only 2 of them are original in the entire game. It basically feels like you're paying $70 for half of a game. And I can't even blame the developers because they probably got like $8 and like 2 weeks to make this entire map. They mostly had to focus all of their efforts on the boss fight, which I do think is a pretty decent boss fight, and it's actually decently challenging. I just think it's stupid the fact they had to choose either between making a new map and making a boss fight. Why not just make a good map with a good boss fight and it would make people want to play this game again? I do think the map flows decently well. It can be a little bit confusing, but after you open Pack-a-Punch, there are more doors that will open that you can literally have more areas to traverse, and it literally flows pretty well. And the Easter egg is also decent. While not being as good as Shinonuma's, it's still pretty good and is not too difficult. All you're doing is just the 3 trials in order to open the portal to get to the Cortifex boss fight. But just like Shinonuma, I actually think this is a pretty decent zombies map, and it honestly again boggles my mind that they didn't release with something like this. And while I'll definitely take this over nothing, it still does scream lazy to me, because like I said, it's not even their fault, but it's still pretty bad. And if this video seems anticlimactic, well, it was an anticlimactic ending for an anticlimactic game. So Vanguard Zombies is definitely not the worst thing ever, but it definitely had so much potential that was absolutely wasted by the fact that Activision gave up on this game because of the poor reception that it got. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And let me know what you guys think of Vanguard Zombies in the comments. Do you guys actually think it's the worst thing of all time? Let me know. Alright, see ya.